Politics here because, we were talking about Hillary Clinton and how she's struggling in these poll numbers. Trump, he's still hanging in there, but, I'll tell you, he's not offering a lot. We have, of course, Chuck and Ford joining me here on this subject and many others. Let's start first with Hillary. Let me go to you, Ford. Ed Henry just said we may see more of Bill Clinton on the campaign trail. Will that help her? Could that change these polling numbers?
Well, right now it's a drip, 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 because honestly, she looks like an untrustworthy bozo on the email situation. And right now, heads are exploding at Clinton HQ in Brooklyn. They want to do anything possible to change the narrative, even if that does mean bringing Bill Clinton back, somebody who Democrats love and respect. Hillary wants to do anything to basically win the nomination and to keep Biden out of the race. What she's hearing really that's more concerning than Bernie Sanders is the fact that she's hearing Joe Biden's footsteps.
Joe Biden, he's got a lot of popularity. A lot of people just, frankly, Chuck, they like him. They just like him. They think he's a regular guy. They can relate to him, and it contrasts her pretty severely.
I was at lunch today with a Republican operative trying to build some coalition, and she looked across the table at me and said, you know what worries me? Joe Biden worries me because he's so... She said, I even like Joe Biden. Joe Biden's a likable guy. And Joe Biden has had a long run, and people have really feel and have a connection to him, and I think it's very concerning. And just like Ford said, if this thing could blow up and go away for Hillary, I think she would end up being all right. She has all the name ID and all the money. But the constant, you're starting to see it in the polling. And as a Democratic operative like myself, you never want this stuff to continue so you can't quell it.
All right. So where does she go from here? I mean, she knows that Joe Biden's out there. She's talking about bringing in the big dogs there, or at least considering it, with her husband potentially making the rounds on the campaign trail. As we watch her polling number, let's not forget, Ford, she's got a ways to go.
She absolutely does have a ways to go, but I will say this. It is a straight shot to the nomination for her if Joe Biden does not get in this race. And if Joe Biden does get in this race, the only way he's going to knock her off is if he gets President Obama's backing, because what Hillary Clinton really has rock solid right now is minority, Hispanic, and black support. She has 57% favorability. There's only so many white, hyper-educated progressives that are going to help Bernie Sanders. But really, when it comes to Joe Biden, if he can not really chip away at that support, Hillary Clinton could be in trouble. There's filing deadlines coming up. If he misses those filing deadlines, then guess what? I think that Hillary Clinton's going to be the nominee unless she gets indicted.
Let's talk about if she is the nominee. How is she faring in a national election? According to the latest Fox News poll, in a general election matchup, 46% of the population would vote for Hillary Clinton, 42% for Donald Trump. Chuck, as you look at these numbers, would you be, as a Democratic strategist, hoping that Donald Trump gets the Republican nomination because he's got the best shot at losing to Hillary Clinton?
Okay. It's a good day for me when Donald Trump is your standard bearer for the Republican Party. I think that there's a lot of people that are sick and tired of being sick and tired. I think Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders has tapped into that. And there's an enthusiasm gap. There's an enthusiasm gap on both sides. That's why your poll shows that outsiders are whipping folks like named Bush and Rubio all across the board. People want to see something different because they feel disenfranchised, and having the same old names if they aren't motivating people to the polls.
Chuck, I will say this, though. Look, Trump was down 15 points just 2 months ago. But I hate to move from a Fox News poll. If we look at the Quinnipiac poll that came out today, there are a lot of folks that are actually beating Hillary Clinton. Ironically, guess what? A lot of Republicans are losing to Joe Biden, and the only one who's tied with Joe Biden and doing the best against Hillary Clinton is Dr. Ben Carson.
So Joe Biden would be a more formidable candidate in your view, Ford?
I think he'd be a more formidable candidate, but I will say this, though. It's a lot easier in a general election for Republicans like myself to tag President Obama's policies to him. Hillary Clinton still can play the gender card. The only question is whether or not she becomes her own worst enemy.
But you look at Carly Fiorina. I mean, she's doing phenomenally well, right, in the polls. She's one of those top 3 contenders right now, according to this latest poll. And most people think she won the debate. So could we potentially, and wouldn't this be interesting, be looking at a situation, Chuck, where the Republicans nominate a woman? I mean, the Republican Party, which is seen as anti-women, embracing this woman, formerly as CEO, you might have a Hillary Clinton, Carly Fiorina matchup.
Well, you know, we're in Washington, D.C. today, and the Pope is here, and there's a lot of poor politicians that are going to see him and hoping that they'll bless his campaign because they're wishing they would be Carly Fiorina. Carly's doing a great job. She got a great bump out of the last thing, and I think the Republicans' best hope is nominating a female like her, somebody outside, somebody that could take on the Democratic nominee that's probably going to be Hillary Clinton if we don't see an indictment, we don't see Joe Biden. There's a lot of what-ifs, but I think that she would be a good candidate for them because they have to figure out a way to close the gap on the female vote, and I think she helps them do that.
Well, you know, and strategists like Ford cannot be calling Hillary Clinton a bozo. Ford, I love you, but you can't say stuff like that.
Well, I want to say
that you're going to embrace more women going forward.
Bozo and how she's handling this. I obviously think Hillary Clinton's a very intelligent woman and somebody who's been planning to win the presidency for the last 20 years. Let me say one thing about Carly Fiorina. She's going to have to find a way to brush up her record at HP because it's still a liability for her within the Republican primary. My advice to her is try to connect with voters on basically the death of her stepdaughter and the fact that she's a cancer survivor. If you can do that and generate more authenticity, people are more likely to buy in to what happened at HP because honestly it requires a lot of business acumen on the part of voters, and it's a simple answer that doesn't fit on the back of a bumper sticker.
Ford, thank you very much. We're going to talk some more, Chuck, thank you, about Carly Fiorina and Hillary Clinton a little later in the show.